In this video, we are going to see Indian entrepreneurs abroad and the Indian trade, colonialism, and the global system. We are going to see two topics, and we can see the food products or the crops that was the we are getting the better world market, and what is happening the poor peasants they can't survive. That was the condition because of the rent and the revenue was collecting by the British. So we can see some of the bankers, Indian bankers, what they are doing, they are moving out of the country, and they are helping the farmers for the export and import of their needed goods. If they are having extra things, they are ready to help them. And not only in Indian, we can see in the second paragraph, some of the second line, they were almost the many of the bankers and traders who financed export agriculture in Central and Southeast Asia using their own funds or those borrowed from European bankers. What they are doing, the Indian bankers, what they are doing, they are helping not only Indians, other country people also for export purpose. And sometimes by their own money, sometimes they are borrowing from the European bankers, and they are giving to the peasants or the people, those who they are in need to export their things. Then they had a sophisticated system to transfer money over large distance. In nowadays with the mobile, we can transfer money to any part of the world, and that is in within seconds we will get it. That is the system. And in olden days, from far distance, it was really difficult. Then also they are done that one for the sake of the people. And what they are starting indigenous forms of corporate organization. They are starting the corporate organization like self-help groups of today. They are starting like some of the organization to help the farmers to collect their things and export it, and sometimes to that is to our country or other countries. Then Indian traders and money lenders, they are following the Europeans. Don't think like that they was working in here in India and the Asian countries only. No, they went to European colonies of Africa. Into Africa also they reached, and we can see the sometimes they are becoming the prominent ones in the airport or seaport itself, because there itself they are ready to give money, or they are ready to help the people to get their money very easily. And that's why passengers, they are becoming very freely, they can move to one place to another place. Then next topic, it is the Indian trade, colonialism, and the global system. What all things we was making the trade here in India? That was first one, it was cotton. We know our cotton production, that was the finest cotton and silk we was producing. And cotton, our things was, we was getting a better market in the European continent. Then what happened, British people, they started with the we can see industrialists or the technology. With the help of new technology, they started to manufacture bulky items, number of items more, and it become less costly, and it is started to come to Indian market. At the same time, they want to get cotton, raw cotton, to produce the cotton cloth. For that purpose, what they are making, tariffs they are imposing on the cloth imports into Britain. When we are making cloth here and when we are sending to Britain, in that there was British people, they was taking huge tax from us. Consequently, the inflow of the fine Indian cotton began to decline. That's why Indian cotton, it is going to other countries, especially to Britain, that slowly declined and slowly it stopped. From early 19th century, British manufacturer also began to seek overseas market for their clothes. Then when they started to produce in a bulky way, what they are thinking, they want to get overseas market, not only European countries, other parts also. Excluded from the British market by tariffs barriers, Indian textile now faced stiff competition in other international markets. Not only sending the British, what they done, they given tariff barriers on Indian cloth when we are sending to Britain. That is one side. At the same time, they started to give cheap price items to other parts of the world. So Indian traders, especially the cotton farmers and cotton traders, they started to face lots of problem or huge decline or loss. Then if we look at the figure of export from India, we see a steady decline of the share of the cotton textile. Don't think like that cotton raw material. Cotton raw material they was collecting from us, but the finished product what we was making, kurtas and other things, that started to decline. And from some 30 percentage around 1800 to 15 percentage, that is 8 percentage by 1815. In 1800, in the years starting of the 19th century, we can see it was 30 percentage textile cloth we was sending to Britain. Now by 15, just after 15 years, we can see that one half of that production is same, but the sending item to Britain, that become half. By 1870s, this proportion had dropped into 3 percentage. Because of the industrial or technology, they started to produce there, so they are not ready to take Indian goods. Then what then did Indian export? The figure again tell that dramatic story. While export of manufactures declined rapidly, export of raw material increased equally fast. We know British people, they want they are in need of raw materials. So what they done, they started to collect extra raw material also, because they was making cloth in the factory. At the same time, what happened, the manufactured goods were sending to Britain, that is declining. Then in between 1812 to 1871, the share of the raw cotton export rose from 5% to 35%, and indigo used for dyeing cloth was another important export for the many decades. We can see the finished product of cotton cloth, it was 30% in starting of the 19th century, and by 1870s we can see that is only 3%. But the export of the this cotton raw material, that was from 5% to 35%, it is increased. At the same time, next item, that is the dyeing material, that is the indigo, and that also was very another that we was getting a good market in Britain and even in European continent. And as you have read last year, opium shipment to the China grew rapidly from 1820 to 20s to become for a while India's single largest export. Means the we studied that one in 8th standard. Opium and indigo, that was the two things the British people said to us to produce maximum, and that also we can see the growth of the opium shipment, that is from China, and it was India's work before, and in China also started to produce opium. Britain grew opium in India and export to China, and it to China, and with the money earned through this sale, it financed its tea and other imports from China. What the British people they are doing, they are collecting opium from India and sending to China, and they are by that value money what they are collecting because of opium, that they are spending for tea and other things what they need in Europe, what they can gain from China. And over the 19th century, British manufacturers flooded the Indian market. What is happening in this British manufacturers, they are coming, and that is not enough number, extra numbers that's reached here in Indian market. Food, grains, and raw material export from India to Britain and the rest of the world increased. What happened? Why they are coming many? Because the cotton as well as the food grains that started to produce here in India and started to send to Britain and other parts of the world. But the value of the British export to India was much higher than the value of the British import from India. How much they was taking from India? That is quite very less, and they was here many means the if they are taking 5% from India, they are used to bring 80% to India. That much difference it was there in export and import in the time of East India Company. Then thus, British had a trade surplus with India because British are getting extra money because of the trade surplus that we have studied in smaller classes already. Means that when the export is more, means the when our selling is more than what we are buying, then we can say it is a surplus thing. Like that, British also started surplus trade. Then Britain used this surplus to balance its trade deficit with other countries, that is, which countries from which Britain was importing more than its selling to. And what they was doing, how much they are earning money because of the surplus trade that they was spending to other countries from where they want to get many things than what they are giving to that particular country. Like that, they was balancing. This is how the multilateral settlement system works, and it allows one country's deficit with another countries to be settled by its surplus with a third country by helping Britain balance its deficit. India played a crucial role in the late 19th century in the world economy, and we can see that the percentage of the export and import was very high in India. Means India was rich before, and because of that one, British people started to exploit us. British trade surplus in India also helped pay the so-called home charges. That includes the private remittance home by the British officials and traders, interest payment on the India's external debt, and the pension of the British officials in India. What they have done, the surplus trade they was using in different way. They was using that one to get them help to the officials, British officials, those who are retired, for their pension and giving them work maintenance of their house, like that. And here it is given one map like that, the trade routes that linked India to the world at the end of the 17th century. How India was getting the connection with other countries, it is showed, that is of the 17th century. Okay, we are stopping here and we will continue next day. Thank you. Have a nice day.